Okay, so it seems like recently there's been even more to do with the whole Offkai situation. Now, if you guys don't remember, we've been essentially covering this whole situation with the Fansly booth, which has caused quite a lot of controversy for multiple reasons. Obviously, one of the reasons is being the fact of where it is situated. It is in the exhibition hall. It is in the main kind of area that people and everyone will see, right? And this includes, obviously, children. People 13 and older are allowed to roam this event without an adult, which obviously is pretty crazy because this is in the main hall where everybody can see it, right? Now, of course, you know, a lot of people have been pointing out the fact that, yes, they don't have as many kind of graphic images or whatever on here, so it's like a little bit more toned down than some of the other booths, right? But it still does lead you to a website that contains a lot of pretty concerning content for kids to be looking at, which obviously a lot of people have been bringing up, and for it to be in the main hall where the kids can see, run around, and do all of this kind of stuff, it's a little bit of a problem, especially whenever people pointed out the fact that there is already a zone for booths like this, for like, you know, kind of 18 plus whatever, where people were actually checked at the door or whatever before they go in, and you know, they double check, you know, how old they are before they can even, you know, get to any of these, right? Which obviously this should also be included in, right? A lot of people have been going after obviously the site and the people that use it and the VTubers that use it, which obviously I just don't think is the case, right? I don't think people should be going after that. I'm just more so concerned about where this booth is and who is kind of accessing this and who is supporting it being here, right? Because of course it shouldn't be here, right? It should be in that other zone with all the other you know, places like that. But for some reason it is in, as I said, one of the main halls of the convention, to the point where it's actually a lot worse than we thought, because obviously this is all stuff that we covered, but essentially I saw this post and I thought this was quite funny because some people thought that maybe, oh, you know, it's just not in the way, nobody really cares about it, it's just going to be like, it's just going to be there, right? But I saw this post recently, and it came from EV here saying, everyone giving directions at Offkai, like, bro, where is the XX booth? It's 3.2 nautical miles southeast of the Fansly Fortress. On my way. So essentially, the Fansly booth is so big at the convention that it has become a lighthouse for people to find places, right? Which I think is absolutely crazy. People say, if you think about it, it's rather funny and cool at the same time. And people saying it's such a tall booth. So this booth is so prominent within the actual convention space as well that people are using it as a lighthouse to find other booths, which just goes to show how kind of exposed this is to you know, anybody, right? Anybody that could be under the age of 18. And of course, you know, some people thought that maybe, oh, you know, it'd be just tucked away in a corner or whatever, it wouldn't be too big or anything like that, and maybe that will be it, right? But no, it seems like it's very big. People can see it from miles away, and yeah, a lot of people have been looking at this QR code here, which we did talk about the other day, and there's actually a screenshot here as well of it. As you can see, say Fancy booth, public booth located in the main convention space, underage walking around. QR codes and links are freely scannable. Links lead to blatant content not appropriate for underage. Address it, Offkai. If Fansly has some responsibility, they should too. And yeah, this is the website. This is actually a better screenshot that I can actually show on the video, whereas the one yesterday I talked about it, I couldn't show because it was that bad. It is still the same page though as the one that I saw. They just cut out this little bottom bit, which that little gray sweatshirt there, I'm pretty sure it was that one there. There is like a whole ass like cake on the screen. So that goes to show what is kind of being shown to the kids that could potentially scan this QR code for even from a distance. You didn't even have to be close to the actual booth itself. So yeah, it's like kind of concerning. Now they have these ones which are like hidden and you have to log in, I'm pretty sure, to see them. But of course, a lot of the content that ended up being shown anyways was very, very suggestive anyways, right? Like let's be real, it's Fansly, right? Of course they are all the content is going to be more so suggestive, right? But as yeah, again, I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that this is being promoted to, you know, kids and things like that. And that is the main problem that people have, right? Nobody has a problem with any of the creators on here. You can see like Camilla is on here. There's like Cottontail and Vexoria, you know, people that are very much liked within the VTubing space and whatever. Lots of people, I mean, like them. And yeah, obviously it's starting to become a little bit of a problem now because, you know, this shouldn't be advertised to these kind of people, right? It should be advertised to, you know, kids that are going around the convention. And as I said, this should have always kind of gone into the 18 plus section that they have. They literally have a dedicated spot for this, right? But what it is good to see is that a lot of people have been, you know, kind of fighting back against this and kind of calling it out, because it is very, very odd. And it is very odd that Offkai haven't said anything about it, right? Because this has been a big, you know, kind of situation, right? Lots of people brought it up. Lots of people have been very concerned about it. But Offkai is still yet to give any reassurance, right? Like, not even just like the fact of, oh, you know, we're working on it and, you know, it'll be fine. You know, there'll be like a separate session or whatever. Like, they haven't even responded with that. And I don't know if that's because they know that they haven't done that and they haven't had any kind of provisions to, you know, kind of keep this away from children. But again, I'm not sure, right? Because I think maybe, you know, responding to it publicly and saying we're not going to do anything about it probably implicates them more into this, and people are going to be, you know, more angry about this, right? So yeah, obviously a lot of people have been, obviously we saw this one from Proctor, obviously getting it early, before the booth was even like public or whatever, someone filming it being like made and things, right? You can see it's a very, very big one. It is lit up, and as I said, anybody can go and visit it, right? Anybody, literally anybody, which I think is very, very concerning. People saying, so the words are blank. Will there be actual images of blank defined by the word? The story here's the corner of the internet where we do believe, where we do in fact believe our lying eyes. Saying, you know, Miner can just go and Google search naked girl. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, but also it shouldn't be promoted, right? There's a difference between, like, obviously someone going onto Google and searching up stuff, right? And a difference between that and a company or a convention or whatever allowing a booth to promote this kind of content to the audience, right? There's a difference between pushing it on them and a difference between them just going and finding it themselves and you know, kind of coming across it on the internet or whatever, right? And if that is the case, probably a better parent, to be honest, right? But again, saying is that a Comic-Con or Anime Con, obviously we knew about that. So there desperately needs to be an alternative to Offkai, saying, yeah, the link that's on the banner leads directly to some tame but still explicit material, which again, yeah, it does. As you guys saw over on here, this does have some, you know, kind of suggestive stuff, and there is some other, like, there's talk about lots of suggestive stuff and things like that too, which obviously is a little bit of a problem right now. Again, as I said, the kind of like full out kind of what you call it explicit content, sorry, is hidden, and you have to like log in to see it, right? But again, it is just one of those things where I don't know, I just don't think the QR code should be there. Maybe if they had it on like small little like business cards or whatever that maybe they give out to people that they know are definitely adults or something like that, I don't know. But I feel like having this huge QR code, which, as I said, you know, many kids have phones these days. You know, it's very easy for them to go and grab this QR code, be interested in what it is, and also not like there's also this thing as well of not just like, oh, it's a kid going, oh, I know what this is, I'm gonna go scan it and go look at, you know, bad stuff on my phone, right? It's not even that sometimes, because they don't even make it super obvious, right? They just say find your Oshi, which, you know, I think they do put like 18 plus only up there, but I'm gonna be real, a kid's gonna be like, oh, okay, I'll just scan that, and then they're gonna come across this, right? Like, I think it is pretty concerning as well, like how little, I don't know, maybe there is enough of an indicator for some people, but I feel like it's not enough. I feel like the QR code is way too big and just way too out there for, you know, literally anybody, as I said, to go ahead and scan that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's anything else that does come from this, because there's been kind of radio silence, right? There hasn't been any kind of thing from Fansly or Offkai or anybody, right, regarding this booth, which is kind of concerning, because, you know, it kind of shows you how much they care about the kids at the event, right? So yeah, we'll have to see if anything does happen. But if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.